Coming up in this episode of Behind the Sound.
Oh, it's about...
You don't have to say the ethnicity of the guy. We already talked about that. Off camera.
Ooh. There's still one thing I can't wrap my mind around. I can't live with or without you, baby. No.
It's going down, people gather around. Grab a mic, let's rap, it's behind the sound. It's going down, people gather around. Grab a mic, let's rap, it's behind the sound. Welcome to this episode of Behind the Sound. I'm really pumped for this talented young artist that we've got on the show today. You may have seen her around the stages with Maracuja and other performances with Terrell Edwards and her famous dad, Chris Mena. But she is a very, very uniquely talented vocalist that I have never heard anything like her voice before. And the first time that I got a chance to hear her sing, she performed on a virtual event that we did with United Way and blew my mind. She blew my mind. She has a lot of different musical influences, which we're going to get into. She's away in school for musical theater right now. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Ellexia.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So yeah, that's good. You know, that's your camera.
Yes.
If you ever want to talk to your audience, that's my camera. We've got a wide shot over here. So just so you know where the angles are, you know what I mean? Not that, I mean, all the angles are good for you, I'm sure.
Oh, thanks.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
It's good to be home.
Yeah.
I'm living in Spain, right outside of Barcelona right now for musical theater school. I'm back on vacation, if you can call Edmonton a vacation.
Home.
Somewhat.
It's home. It's a vacation from your new home.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's nice being back.
Okay. So what is going on in Barcelona? You're doing musical theater school. Is this like the dream that you've always wanted to do? And is everything living up to your expectations?
You know, I've had a lot. I kind of want to do everything, to be honest. You know, I work on my own music. I'm very R&B influenced. And then it's like a switch turns and all of a sudden I'm in my musical theater space when I'm in my musical theater. But everything kind of carries back and forth. So when I'm singing regular songs, I'm like, okay, is this too musical theater right now? Am I doing stuff I shouldn't? And then it is the exact same when I'm in musical theater and I'm just like, is this musical theater or is this R&B? What am I trying to, yeah. So, but it's good. It's a good thing. It's a good problem to have for sure. I have a lot of tools in my toolbox. So
I think that's one of the coolest things about what you do is that you have such a diverse range of influences. You're not somebody who grew up just listening to rap or to R&B. I think because of the musical influences in your family and being surrounded by music and having all of this classic old school influence as well. And real music, let's be real here. Your pops has got some you know what I mean?
Yes.
Not to gas his head up more than it needs to be.
Yeah.
But he's got some good taste and he's a talented artist as well. So to be surrounded by him and his friends and his bandmates, I think has been a really cool influence for you. And I got to see that firsthand because when we first saw you perform with United Way, you did that Whitney cover, which is a banger. And you destroyed that.
Oh, thank you.
And then it was also and then we wanted a second song. And I'm like, what do you sing? What could you sing blindfolded and deaf right now and nail? And it was a musical. What song did you do?
So it was called She Used to Be Mine from the musical Waitress.
Okay.
And it's actually a musical written by Sarah Bareilles. So that's pretty cool. Her music is really good and everything. So yeah, so I did that song. It's a song that I do a lot.
Yeah.
It's great.
But it was obvious that how many times you had performed that, you know? And I think it was so cool to just see a switch come on because we had tried a few different things before that in between the So You Think I Want to Dance with Somebody and this song that you did. And as soon as we got that instrumental in there and you started singing that song, it was oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was you were meant to do that. So you flipped from this ultra classic sort of pop song to this musical theater song. And it was absolutely seamless. And that's because I think of all the different musical influences that you have, right?
You know, when I was growing up, I used to drive in the car all the time with my dad because I was going to soccer practice and doing all those things. And so I was probably in the car most with my dad. And he used to, I used to want to play my music and he's like, no. I'm like, why? And he's like, it's education time. He's like, this is the time we take
That's so dad.
to become educated about, and I did everything from the Police to Stevie Wonder
Let's go.
to literally to Pearl Jam. Like what? Like just so many things that I'm very grateful for now because I see my friends and I'm 19 and it's like completely over their head. So I'm really lucky.
For sure. Yeah, it's really cool. Same with my parents. Like they let me listen to whatever I wanted. Like nothing was really off the table. And I had a big brother who brought like NWA and records like that home that I listened to. So he sort of, broke that path down for us. But my mom would always take us to Les Mis and Phantom of the Opera and Miss Saigon and all of these incredibly written and directed musicals that just kind of, to this day, like I saw Leah Salonga's audition tape for that song. And it's like I'm almost in tears of how good she is and how good that song is, and certain melodies do that to me. And oftentimes it's in musical theater.
Mm-hmm. I mean, musical theater songs are very story-based and very story-driven. And I find it so much easier to connect with that than other music because I find that regular music is very groove kind of driven and it's great and I love it both ways, but it's trying to put those together for me is what really, that's why when I write songs I start with the melody and then I add the lyrics, but I always find that there's a story within the lyrics that can be picked apart and which is nice.
That's really good. I think that's why, because you're aware of that, that's why your songwriting skills are really good. And I know you've been in rooms with different industry professionals and people have told you that. So hopefully you know that because not everybody can write songs, and a lot of big, famous, iconic artists out there have not written any of their own songs. There's really only a select few that are able to write and produce and record and perform all of their stuff. So I think, man, you have like all of those assets behind you. Yeah. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Oh, I have nothing.
Nothing? What?
No. I don't know. It's just, I don't want to say I have everything, but I have everything to be something that I want to be, if that makes sense.
So what do you want to be?
Everything.
What's the vision? If you saw yourself, the vision right now, 5 years from now, and are you on a stage somewhere? Are you, okay.
Yes.
It's like, no doubt. Okay. What room is it? Like, what stage are you on? Where are you? And like, who's there? And what are you singing?
Oh my gosh. That's
The
hard.
dream. The dream.
Well, right now I'm kind of biased because I do musical theater school every day, 9 to 6. So, honestly, seeing that process and, people get these shows ready in a month sometimes. And I'm just like, I want to do that so badly. Like that's the go, go, go. I've always been like that. So I'm just like, I want to do that. And I want to be a part of something that people can come to and leave feeling good about themselves and about the music they're listening to. And, I find with musical theater, that's really common to go to the theater. I always leave really just moved and happy and thinking about bigger things than just what I saw. So I like that.
That's really cool.
Sense? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big dream. So maybe it's Broadway or maybe it's, and what is your favorite part about musical theater right now? Like you mentioned, I'm really loving dance classes. I'm like, you're taking dance classes too? And then I didn't realize, I thought it was just music school and I didn't realize it was musical theater. So obviously you have to sort of be a triple threat and be able to dance and move and all of that stuff. Do you have a favorite piece of that right now?
It's hard. I really like my dance classes.
Yeah.
Actually, I really like them.
Have you taken dance before?
When I was younger.
Okay. What kind of dance?
Like hip hop,
Okay.
I did jazz and tap, and ballet, but I was super young. Like I didn't keep going with it. I think I stopped when I was like 8. So, but now I'm doing jazz, tap, and ballet. Difficult. It's difficult. It's a change. I've been a soccer player my whole life, so like I already had that athletic aspect of it, which is good
coordination
and it's helping
and-
me because if I didn't, I don't know where I'd be. But yeah, it's really nice to push myself and feel good about working hard towards something that I'm not already used to.
And so are your peers coming with like, you played soccer all your life. Have they been dancing all their lives?
So how our school works is there's the singing stream and the dancing stream of musical theater. So it kind of branches out into 2 groups.
Okay.
So the dancers have an extra dance class and we have an extra singing class, but we still get all our dance classes and everything. But yeah, there's some people there that are triple threats
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So take us back to 5-year-old Ellexia.
Okay.
Okay. Now, with a kind of talent and skill set that you have, you got to know from a young age. I think people had to know from a young age. You must have been singing your ass off, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So was there a moment for you that you knew, or was it always just kind of there? Music was always there. You were surrounded by it and there was like no other option. This is what you had to do.
So when I was younger and in school, you know how you're asked as a kid, you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Everyone's like, oh, I want to be a doctor. Oh, I was always singer,
Yeah. You knew.
famous. That's it.
Yeah.
That was it for me from kindergarten to grade 12.
Yeah.
So I knew. And then my parents took me to a John Mayer concert. And Michael Franti and the Spearheads were opening for him. And they do the song, what's it called?
You can sing it.
Okay. It's like, hey, I'll be gone today. But do you know?
No.
Okay. Anyway, but they invited all the kids in like the audience to come and go up there with them and dance. And so my dad handed me to a security guard. I'm 5 years old.
Yeah.
I look super cute. I'm in like this pink bomber jacket with princesses on the back.
Of course.
And little pink shoes to match. And he just hands me over. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I actually remember it so vividly that So he hands me over and then I go and then they take me on stage. And one of his friends was on stage. She was a backup singer for that band. She takes me by the hand and then I am just like staring into this whole arena of people watching me. And because I was the youngest on stage, I was on the screens. So I was like, wow, that's, yeah.
I said, I kind of like this.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like I
Whereas
was,
most kids would be like, to get me off the stage.
Yeah, I was
Scared and
not.
nervous. You were ready.
I was ready. I think I kicked and screamed a bit before he got me up there, but
Right.
yeah. As soon as I was there, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you sang something a lot, like you knew what did you do up there?
So I knew the song because
Okay.
my mom used to blast it in the house.
Okay.
But it was just to dance. And so
Yeah.
I was just dancing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So when did you start writing songs?
So I think I was in about grade 9. Although growing up, me and my sister used to just make stupid random songs all the time.
Yeah.
But in grade 9, I really started to, what age is that, like 15? I started to really buckle down on
15, so long
songwriting.
ago. So
long
many years ago for you, hey?
Yeah.
Do you remember, what about some of your early on experiences, performing in your dad's band or anything like that? Like, how young were you then when you remember, like, tell me some stories of like, nerves of like going up and rocking a stage, like really rocking a stage, not getting pulled up to dance, like having to rehearse and prepare music and prepare verses and going up and having that feeling of performing in front of an audience and having them cheer for you. Do you remember any like specific moments like that?
So the first time I went on stage with my dad, it was with the Payback, I believe. That's his cover band. And I was so nervous because I was never like, I was always too young to go up there, and he's like, just.
Oh, you couldn't even go to most clubs and stuff like
exactly.
that? Yeah,
So we went, and I was watching, and then he's like, okay, now my daughter's going to come up and sing. I was like, what?
So
like,
it
who's
wasn't even a
coming?
planned
No.
thing. Okay.
Like a little, because he kind of like, get a song ready, and I was like, for
Oh,
what?
so you
And
knew. It wasn't
I
a
kinda
complete
knew.
surprise. Okay.
Yeah, just so I could be a little prepared. And I sang Valerie
Okay.
by Amy Winehouse. And then I sang it so many times since then. But yeah, that was the day that I just sang it, and it was great, and I loved it. And yeah, I got an applause, which is nice. So was I nervous? Yes. Did I have a little bit of stage fright? Yeah. But as of now, I don't, which is nice.
Has there ever been any moments that you wanted to quit music?
Yes and no. In high school, I was like, am I really going to do this?
You don't want to say because your dad's listening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I can see you. Yeah.
I was like, am I really going to do this? Like, is this what I want to do?
In high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I was like, maybe I could be like an ER nurse. I like on
Something
the go.
safe and boring. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I've never seen myself like, when I was younger, I didn't even know if I wanted like a family, So like thinking about that, I was like, I don't want to settle down and be here. And there's nothing wrong with it. But for me, I've never seen myself as like, settle down, get a family, do this, do that, like in a row.
Right.
I've just never,
Right.
I wasn't raised like that,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, you know what? Like all the doubts, of course you're going to have doubts because it's a normal thing. But yeah, after that, I was like, okay, let me just work hard at this so I can prove myself wrong, if that makes sense.
Good. I mean, you're young enough that you could fail at 13 more things in terms of career and life choices and all of those things before you would ever feel an impact on your life. Like you've got a lot of time. Fucking settle down. Like that's a lot. Hopefully that's a lot of years away.
I hope so too.
You got a lot of time and room to grow and build the music. And when you talked about, you always had this vision of like being a performer and being a musician and an artist. How has that vision changed for you now? Because like as a kid, you still sort of have that, that vision of like, oh, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be, I don't know, like Whitney Houston or Taylor Swift, and I'm going to be touring and singing on a stage. And I talk up with a lot of artists on the show, and there's like so many different successful paths in music that isn't just being signed anymore. Labels aren't just going out and signing people anymore like they were. And there's such a different with, the explosion of YouTube and social media, ways that you can do it as an independent artist. So how has that vision changed for you now? What do you think a successful career in music looks like for you in the next 5 years, 10 years?
Growing up, it's a lot about growing up, to be honest. But it was either, my dad was in Rent, so it was either musical theater or like a singer selling out arenas, which is what I want.
Fair, yeah. What you still want.
What I still want.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard because I want both.
Yeah.
So it's like those two things have been fighting against each other.
Like musical theater versus like pop,
yes,
R&B. Okay.
all the time.
Yeah.
And so I want to do it all.
Mm-hmm.
I love to write for people and keep writing. And if I'm in musical theater, doing that on the side and trying to get that going. And I want to do everything. It's really like funny to say, but I don't see myself just doing musical theater. Like I have to do other stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, and also you gotta like spend the next 5 years really tasting all of those things too, right? I don't think you'll figure out of things that you don't want to do. You'll figure out things that you don't like, and that will sort of by process of elimination lead you to things that you know you're gonna love and that you can pursue whether you were getting paid or not. Because I think that's the real difference in finding something in your career that you're gonna last is like, would I do this shit for free? Is this something that I would do for the rest of my life if nobody was going to pay me? Because that's how hard it's going to be, you know? Like you have to love it that much. It's a 1 in a billion shot these days to get that kind of level of success. If we're talking about selling out Rogers Place or something like that. If you had to pick one right now and the other one was going to die, pop music versus musical theater, right now, you had to pick one and the other was going to die. Which one would it be? 3, 2, 1.
Pop music?
Oh,
I
see?
know.
Oh, wow. Okay. So the truth comes down to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But musical theater is a great way. Like there's no better way to hone your skills and your craft. And something that I think maybe has more opportunity to get into than like becoming a pop star, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think like the idea of being a triple threat to me is so worth it. So like being a triple threat, you can literally do anything you want. You can be in plays, you can be in movies, you can be in like musicals, you can be up there on a stage. Like you literally learn every skill you need to be something if that's what you want to do. So yeah.
What do you think in your long career, your 19-year-old career, is one of the most important pieces of advice that you've gotten in terms of like a musical career?
Gosh, that's hard.
Because you've had the opportunity to be surrounded by a lot of really cool musicians and artists and industry professionals with all of the stuff that you've done and your family and your dad. So has something ever really stood out to you that an industry professional there has said about you that maybe you didn't know about yourself or you didn't realize, or that you were like, oh yeah, that's actually that's dope?
Okay, yeah. It's not so much advice, but kind of. I was told that I have a very unique voice for musical theater, and I didn't realize that. I just thought it was normal. I kind of make songs into my own. Well, it's like kind of a process because if I hear a new song, I'll like do the karaoke not knowing the song at all. So that's how She Used to Be Mine got to where it was, because I didn't know the song. I kind of just did it on karaoke. I made it into my own, and then after I started putting the pieces together and everything. But yeah, so he's like, you do everything like your own way, and that's really good in this business. Like that's what you want. Don't lose that. I was like, okay, that makes sense. And so going through my classes, my peers and my classmates, they're all like, you have such an interesting voice. They're like, I feel like you can sing anything. And growing up the way I did, I feel like I can sing anything too.
You did sing anything.
Yeah. So it's a really good thing to have for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on losing it. I hope I get better with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and Ellexia, to be real with you, I feel like that's something you got or you don't, you know, and you got it, right? Like I think a lot of, especially young artists, don't really know what their voice is. And I'm not saying you completely know yourself as an artist or a voice, because 19 is still really young. And I think you're going to still learn a ton in school in the next 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But you have a natural instinctive thing about the way that you sing and the style and the flavor that you have. That is Ellexia. You don't sound like anybody and you're not trying to mimic anybody. But when you're influenced by all of these things, it's easy to like try to sing like Taylor Swift or Michael Jackson or all of these things, because that's what you've listened to. And whether people subconsciously do that or not, it's a very easy thing to do. And so, yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're very lucky to like have this unique sound and unique style to what you do. And that's going to carry you, a long way. That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I sing so many genres. Like, I just started singing country.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Don't be a country singer, though. Please, for me, if there's any piece of advice, please don't stay away from country. I know we're in Alberta, okay?
But it's only the bluesy country.
There you go.
And
Okay,
some
yeah.
other stuff.
So old school, not like that pop country.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Like Chris Stapleton country.
Okay.
Like
all right.
the
That's
good-
more
the
pop
good
to me
stuff,
than
the
yeah.
good
Okay. Okay.
But, and then I do like rock, I guess, Pat Benatar, if you can- like all that stuff. So it's just a whole mix of everything you can think of.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So let's we're gonna perform something together. We always end the show with a little performance. Tell me about this song. Tell me about the boy. And I mean, you talk about storytelling and infusing that into what you do with music and how that works with musical theater. And there's definitely a story that you can feel in these lyrics in this song. So how did this happen? When did you write it? And who's the boy that me and your dad have to go kill?
So I wrote it I wrote it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Me and this boy dated for a bit.
Mhm.
And then we weren't dating, but we were still hanging out and friends and talking. And it's like I couldn't get away from him. And he couldn't get away from me. It was so weird. And it was so bad for us. And that's okay. Like, stuff happens. It's an experience. But,
You got a good song out of it.
all of my songs are like, they're fueled by some type of anger. So it's good.
Oh, anger. I wasn't expecting you to go there.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was like the story, but it's anger, full on.
I mean, sometimes it is. Like, I'm not a very emotional person, but when
Right.
it comes to, like, being betrayed, betrayal is great
Yeah.
for
Great
songwriting.
for songwriting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I wrote it about us, I guess, and him, and it's called With or Without You because I literally did not know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And now it's kind of a mishmash of different people that kind of, because, I don't know, guys at my age are kind of all the same.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of a mishmash of my experiences, which is why I feel it so
Yeah.
deeply.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, sometimes songwriting is like that. It's like all of your experiences into one, Yeah. If you were going to put out a record right now, what style of record do you think it would be? Because this song kind of has had a bunch of different iterations already, right? We're going to do an R&B version of it, like a slowed down kind of a R&B version with the rap. It's sort of like a dancey version, I think, the first version that I heard. But it starts acoustic, like acoustically slowed down and then flips into like a dance track.
It's an interesting one.
Uh-huh.
Like, it can literally be anything. I made a version with my dad that was Motown.
Yeah, yeah.
Version with you, that's R&B. Well, more. And my version is just crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of just me on my guitar, like, doing whatever. Like, because that's what I mean by fueled by anger.
Yeah.
Because towards, like, the middle, like, my chorus, it gets way
Angrier and angrier.
It gets way angry, and there's totally a story to it. And, like, yeah, so I'm starting off, like, nice and slow.
Yeah, and
it
then you
goes,
get pissed the F off.
And then I get mad.
Yeah.
Because as I'm singing these lyrics, I'm like, oh my God, like I want to punch someone.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of just, if I were to release an album, probably acoustic.
Acoustic?
Yes,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
start.
Chill on the anger a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Although-
acoustic can get pretty angry too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's like raw, anger, betrayal in one.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. When did you learn to play the guitar? Like, is that how you songwrite or all the time? Or do you like melodies pop into your head without the guitar?
I tend to use my guitar first because I like to write the melody first. Just play with chords and see what works and then write lyrics to that. So yeah, my guitar is like my friend. It's nice. I just got a new one so I can carry it with me around.
Nice.
But
Was that a little parting gift for Barcelona?
yeah, we actually
Fancy guitar?
we got it in Barcelona, which was super cool. So I'm like,
Ooh,
okay,
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
It took a 7. Like I tried out 7 guitars before I actually liked one.
Right. Cool.
And I was like, you know what? It's like a wand. It's like, you know, in Harry Potter when like the wand chooses you.
Yes.
That's how I feel about guitars.
Right.
Yeah.
So what was it about this guitar that spoke to you? You should have brought that bad boy.
I know.
What were you thinking?
I know.
Yeah.
I have one here. So it's,
Okay.
Yeah. But it's a steel string,
Okay.
which is lots of people just play classical, but I really like my steel string. I like the way it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It was darker than any guitar. So it's a really dark brown.
Mm-hmm.
It matches me really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Dark brown?
dark brown.
Okay.
Like really, really dark.
I would consider you more light brown, but okay.
Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Especially, I mean, and my lens is Filipino spectrum. So that's very light brown in my world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like my hair is dark, so I'm like, and I wear black all the time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it doesn't count that you're wearing a dark brown shirt right now either, by the way.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So it's dark and the wood is really nice and yeah, it was just my guitar. Like I knew it. And it was the cheapest one that we looked at. And my dad was happy about that.
and so was it cheaper than your flight home from Barcelona? Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Because Papa's going to have to pay for a few flights back and forth
Yeah.
to see his girl, right? And
But I mean, it just has to happen.
Yeah.
There's no really, like, no choice. I mean, there's a choice for me to go home, but obviously I want to go home and I don't want them to spend money, but then I'm like, I want to go home.
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll get settled in. You've only been there for not even a semester, right?
Yeah.
And it takes a while to like make those connections and build roots and make real friends. And
I mean, I wasn't even supposed to be here
Mhm.
right now.
yeah.
Last Sunday, I called my mom. I was like, Mom, can I come home?
Aw.
And she's like, yeah. And so that was at 3. My tickets were booked by 10.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
How would you? Of course. Like
Yeah.
if any of my boys called me and they were homesick and like, of course.
Yeah, I was so homesick. And it just kind of hit me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that week, because I was fine before that, I was very preoccupied.
Yeah.
But then I was like, everyone's going home and I want to go home.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay here for a week
Yeah.
by myself.
Yeah.
And my roommate was leaving and I was like,
Oh.
I want to go home and see my family.
Yeah. Why was everybody? Was that reading? What
Yeah, so
week?
we had
Okay.
like a directed study week,
Okay.
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
My sister is my best friend. So being apart from her for that long
Sure.
is difficult.
Yeah.
Like when we're together, it's super weird because we feed off of each other and it's might be kind of annoying to some,
Yeah.
but it's so funny.
I'm sure it is annoying.
And-
Yeah.
Like my dad knows. We bug him all the time, but
I'm sure.
So-
yeah.
but yeah, being away from her was really, really hard for me.
Were you
Yeah.
always that close with your sister? Or
Yeah.
really? It didn't
Even
get
growing up,
really.
it was
What's the age difference?
2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Okay. So you share friends and stuff like that too? A
Yes.
lot of the same
Oh yeah.
circles?
In high school, my last year, my production musical theater class was all grades. So she was in grade 10, I was in grade 12, and then we did that together. And then she was my opposing part kind of thing. And
Cool.
then we got to perform together and
Oh, cool.
went through the whole process. And she had stage fright her whole life
Really?
until she got to that class.
So the opposite of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she had stage fright and like she did not like the stage. And now she loves it.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank
You
God
feel-
for me.
Yeah. 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 That you can share that now.
Yeah.
I had a best friend in high school who had an older brother 2 years apart, and they fought all the time.
Yeah.
But they always hung out. Like we were always together, and we had lots of friends. But they fought all the time. So it could go both ways, I think, right?
For sure.
So why don't you? Thank you. I'm glad we stole some time. You know,
Yeah,
I'm
you
glad
should.
that you're here for this week, and we were able to get you onto the pod. Quickly, like threw together this beat. Shout out to Enoch for
Thank
putting
you,
this
thank
beat
you.
together. I'm like, listen, hey man, can you throw something together like today? So we have tomorrow to rehearse. And I wrote a verse for it. I kind of got the vibe of what your song was, and I'm probably gonna have to read that off of like a teleprompter or something because I'm not ready for it. But I'm glad we were able to get you here, and I think you're such an incredible talent, and
thank you.
and I'm excited to see what the next few years looks like for you. I'm glad I got to get you in here before you become famous, like super famous, and you don't want to come home anymore. And it'll be like I'll have to go like through your manager or something like that. And
You already do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your dadager. Is that a thing? I know there's a momager, but is there such a thing as a dadager?
Oh my gosh.
So I'm glad we were able to do this. Thank you for coming. Why don't you look at your camera, intro your song. Tell us what, intro your song. Give us a rundown.
My song is called With or Without You by me.
Hey.
And yeah, is that?
It's about
It's
the
about
2-sentence rundown, yeah.
Oh, it's about.
You don't have to say the ethnicity of the guy. We already talked about that. Off camera.
It's about not being able to live with or without someone, so you're kind of just in a really hard spot in the middle.
And it's an angry song. Let's go. Let's jump in the booth.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
I don't wanna see you anymore. No, not anymore. As long as I'm here, I can't think straight. There's nothing in my brain. I can't be the one you go straight to. I can't handle that, and neither can you.
Yeah.
So I'll say goodbye. There's still one thing I can't wrap my mind around. I can't live with or without you, baby. No, I can't live with or without you, baby. No. 'Cause when you're here, it's a pain. When you're gone, I go insane, and it's so confusing. I can't live with or without you, baby. No.
Yeah, she never thought she'd be living if living's without you. 'Cause living is not living if it is without you. I get it from the beginning, it wasn't about you. Wasn't about proof, it wasn't about you. She a born sinner reform. Got a fade on, hide her red eyes with Visine and got her shades on. Devil in disguise, size about 4'7". A little bit of hell, a little more heaven, a little bit of love, at least that's what she tell him. She gotta let it go, she really gotta shelf it, Is she really real or is she that selfish, huh? Oh well, hell, she might as well tell him. Can't live with or without you. You killing me now, my foot is out the door and you feeling me now. I ain't feeling it, I'm feeling you now. For due diligence, militant, how she finish it for the thrill of it, huh?
If I let go of my heart, maybe this time it'll be alright.
It's alright, baby.
If I let go of my heart, maybe this time
Just let it go, man.
Thanks.